Ben Jawalski, what's going on?
I am so excited that I'm only, probably 48 hours away from seeing your beautiful face.
Wait, are you leaving Wednesday?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm leaving tomorrow, so other people will see my beautiful face much earlier than you.
I just can't wait to just see you and just immediately rub the top of your head as hard as I can. Oh,
I was hoping for a head rub. I've been kind of dreaming about that, to be honest.
I'm also kind of stoked about the warm weather. Looks like we're going to have some nice warm weather. Hopefully, no large storms coming through like last year. It'll be a good time. Excited for Miami.
Dude, that storm last year was intense. It's supposed to be like 75 and sunny all week, so I'm really excited. I need to go buy some sunblock 10,000 or see if I can borrow some from Vellner while I'm down there.
I figured you'd just be wearing, like what all the fishermen do.
Mm-hmm.
They just wear these they wear long sleeve shirts, like gloves over their hands, like big hats, and it just covers every inch of their body.
I was gonna wear this hoodie and just pull it up.
Yeah.
It's a good look. It's a good look for me. No, I'm excited. It'll be good. I got we got the emails today about the heat times, and I immediately got nervous. And it was funny. I haven't been nervous about competing or even going down there. And as soon as I saw the heat time, I'm like, oh shit, it's real. This is real.
I haven't gotten nervous because I haven't even thought about or tried any of the workout. I've never used a drag rope. I don't even know if I've done a deep ball clean in my life. So I'm just gonna wing it.
Elise in the comments asked if I'm doing the gauntlet, and yes, I'm doing it. And I've been training my ass off for this thing, and I'm still nervous. I was talking to a member of your team, Savannah, today, and I said to her, I'm really nervous. And I'm like, because I've never competed in front of a crowd like this before. And she very gently reminded me, she's like, yes, you have. You did the Winter Classic in Cleveland and you fell on your face. Don't you remember? And I'm like, oh, shit. That makes me feel so much better that the last time I competed in person, I literally fell on my face. I was doing, it was a partner workout and I got talked into doing it. And we were doing burpees over the bar and we were in second place. It wasn't a big crowd, but it was big enough that I could hear them. And we're doing burpees over the bar and we finish our last rep and I go to clear the bar to make it. And it was like a sprint to the finish, like a 50-yard sprint, and back foot doesn't clear the bar and I face plant. You can hear the whole crowd when we hit our last rep, they go, yeah. And as soon as I face plant, they go, oh.
Oh man. Well, that's exciting. I'm just very excited to see what a nervous John Woolley looks like.
I don't think
Your heat is at 3 p.m., right? 3
Yeah.
p.m. on Thursday. So every human being on planet Earth, please tune in or be there Thursday. It's at Flagler Stage.
They're not streaming it.
I think they have in the past.
God, I hope they're not streaming it. I don't need
And
that
if
kind
not,
of
I'm going to make sure someone does. And his heat time, yours is at 3, mine is at 4:40 p.m.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, though. I think it'll be fun. I was joking around today that my coach has programmed workouts that have been so hard that the gauntlet, I'm like looking forward to the gauntlet just so I can get a little break.
Yeah. Jeez.
Just so I can do a workout that has more breaks in the middle. I mean, I swear to God, like the last 2 workouts Jen has made me do have been so difficult. I'm like, there's nothing they can throw at us at the gauntlet that's going to be harder than this.
I saw you guys did throw down on Sunday. That it was like very gauntlet-esque. Like you're practicing a lot of the movements, which is very admirable and very smart.
Well, the truth is we've been doing most of those movements. Like when we started the training, I went to Jen early on and I'm like, all right, listen, here's what I need. I need you to program really hard shit. It's an hour-long workout at the gauntlet with about 2 to 4 minutes in between workouts, 5 to 6 workouts. So I have to be prepared for a full hour, knowing it won't actually be a full hour. And you have to program the things I hate that don't normally show up in workouts, but could absolutely show up in a competition. And one of those things was heavy D-ball or sandbags. Like that from the very beginning, we started training ski erg, heavy D-ball, tons of burpees because we knew they would show up. And we threw some other stuff in too that, obviously didn't end up showing up, but I think it'll help. And we did a lot of rowing, which is, hopefully will pay off as well. But But really, she picked all that. Like, I just went down the list and said, here's all the things I hate to do. And man, we've been doing them every week now for 4 months.
And all of them are conveniently in the gauntlet.
Not all of them, but but the funny thing is like a lot of the combinations are combinations we've been working together, yeah. Burpees awesome. And D-balls is one of them, so it doesn't mean like, I don't feel like, all right, well, I'm going to beat everybody because I've been practicing it. It just means I know what the stimulus feels like, so I won't be shot. Like my nerves won't be because I don't know what that feels like. It'll be something else altogether. So I don't know. I'm excited to do it. I don't know if hopeful is the right word. I'm just kind of want to get it over with and then just have a fun week. If that makes sense.
I think it's going to be a great time. So my head of marketing, her name is Charlie. She's from the UK. Mm-hmm. She is going at the exact same time as me, 4:40 p.m. On that Thursday. And I'm worried she's going to out front squat me. So watch out, CrossFit World. Charlie, my head of marketing, she hasn't really done many competitions. She's never done a weightlifting competition. And I'll just put it this way. She's definitely going to win the front squat in the women's division.
What's her front squat?
What place would she have gotten in the men's division is the question.
Well, I'm scared to ask now because if she's going to beat you, she's definitely going to beat me.
Oh, she definitely beats you in the front squat for sure. Like, dude, she's unreal. So at the games, we'd after, staying up all night and partying at the after party, we obviously did a drop in at Big Game Collective the next morning. And we were like doing some weightlifting stuff. And I was like, man, I'm banged up. Like, I'm going to take it kind of easy. Like, just like, I won't go all in. And I look over at Charlie, we're doing hang snatches. Snatches are my thing. Okay. I look over, we have the same weight on the bar. And I'm like, Charlie, what's your 1 rep max? She's like, oh, I don't know, in her adorable accent. And
are you going to try to do it? Do the accent. Do it.
Set it in kilos. Oh, I can't do it.
It'll just come off as Australian. Like,
yeah, it's too complicated. Yeah. It's too complicated. She's ridiculously strong. And anyway, I'm very excited. I'm like more excited that she's doing the gauntlet and we get to actually see how fit she is rather than me doing the gauntlet. It just sucks that we're going at the same time. So I'll probably just be watching her the whole time.
What division is she in?
RX female.
RX. Which one are you? You're an intermediate, right?
No, I'm RX.
You did RX? I thought you were intermediate.
Yeah, dude.
Wow, look at you.
The weights that they posted were not particularly heavy for me, so I did RX.
Humble brag, look at you.
Yeah, I used to do this a lot, John, okay?
Yeah, I know, but now you do it like 1 day a week.
Yeah, and I can still lift a lot of weight.
And the show is scaling, Bill. You could have gotten away with scaling. You could have been in my division. You would have crushed the scale division. It would
there would have been a threat of me making it to Saturday. That's a problem. That's a problem for my strategy of just really having a nice, relaxing weekend. So
you know what really sucks about making it to Saturday, if you get to Saturday, is it's at 8 a.m.
Yeah. See, no. Yeah. If I make Saturday, I'll just get sick. I'll get COVID.
Yeah. I told Jen, if I think I'm doing well by the 4th workout, I'm not going to do jack in the 5th. So I don't have to work out on Saturday. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Because qualify for Saturday and then just be like, oh man, I really pulled my upper dorsi rectimus muscle.
Exactly. Well, I'm excited. It should be fun. The workouts look good. I think they're well structured. A lot more breaks this year than last year, though.
Also, a lot more cardio. So it's frustrating.
Is it? I didn't pay that close attention. I just remember last year, you guys, it seemed like you only got 2 minutes in between each workout. And this one, the two of the cardio-esque workouts are relatively short. One's a 9-minute AMRAP. The other's 15 minutes is a time cap. But I'm doing the math on it. And if I think everybody should be under 12 minutes, but I could be completely and utterly naive.
Yeah.
I think I should be. So, the reality is your two, kind of, Metcon ones are slow. And then your last one's a 12-minute. And the row is only, 3.5 or so. So they're all relatively short.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. The bottom line is, when you stack a bunch of relatively short workouts together and within an hour, it becomes a very long workout. So,
well, that's what I'm going to be interested to watch other people. That's, that was the point of me spending so much time training this. Wasn't like I want to go out and win the gauntlet. but there is a different stimulus between going out and, to your point, blowing up, kind of a short Metcon, and then you still got to do 3 more things and how your body recovers, and going into it and being able, like, understanding what's coming next and what pace you should have. Because your pace for a 9-minute AMRAP, when you have another 15-minute time cap immediately after, you have a sprint row and then another 12-minute AMRAP back to back to back to back, is far different. Yeah. And if the only thing you're doing that day is the 9-minute AMRAP.
Yep. I believe last year, I peaked very early. Let's just put it that way. I think I got first or second place out of everyone in the overhead squat. I did very well in the next workout, and then the next one was like a salt bike sprint, probably dead last, and then the next one was some other like just grunt workout, like second to last, and then like the last 3 workouts were like super, super high skill, like bar muscle up, handstand push up, toes to bar, chest to bar. And I got really good on those ones. So it was like very much I just took it easy in the middle of the workout, but it'll be good. And there's a lot of people who are going to be there that we know that'll be there cheering us on. And I'm very excited. I'm excited. This is the first time I'm going to Wodapalooza without trying to cram in a bunch of seminars. Like a lot of times we'll do like seminars while we're down there and have the whole team there. And for 2 years in a row, the seminars were like kind of a disaster because last year got rained out. We had 2 seminars, both of them got rained out. And then the year before, it was just like they forgot to cap the amount of people that could come to our double under seminars. There's just people doing double unders everywhere. And it was still amazing, but it was tough coaching some people wearing flip-flops and things like that. But this year it's just there for fun. We have a few people from the WOC prep team there. And I've been inviting so many people to your party on Saturday night. So it's going to be way too many people. The fire marshals are going to shut us down.
Dude, I'd forgotten about that dude showing up in flip-flops to your double under seminar. That was the best. Have you looked over the Gauntlet RX division?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Well, for one, there's right in the middle of it is Justin Medeiros. Swear to Christ.
Oh, okay.
So,
Probably.
Hopefully it's like
probably do well, I'd say.
A cousin or somebody. Hiller's in your division.
Yeah. There's a bunch of fit people.
Please.
Last year there was 2 games athletes, like ex-games athletes that competed in the RX division.
Please go down there and no rep them. I think that'd be funny.
Oh, I would love it if the whole crowd was no rep, just all the time.
He's gonna do well. That dude's fit, man. He's gonna do really well. There's no doubt about it. I was talking to a friend. I was talking to a friend. He goes, "Oh, I'm judging the gauntlet." I'm like, "Bro, let's talk about what a good bro rep looks like, because you're gonna be my judge now." It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't see any other games athletes though on the list. Last year, Ethan Helbig won your division, and he's a former games athlete. Did you see anybody else on this list that competed?
I haven't looked at the list, man. I don't know.
Oh, you're just going into it blind. All right.
I don't do lists. I don't do I could have tried a drag rope the other day, and then I just forgot to do it. So just gonna have a good time. Let what happens, and then as soon as I'm done, eat some ice cream, hopefully, and a margarita.
Dude, I can't wait to watch. I'm glad we're at different times. That way I should be fully recovered by 4:30 when you go.
Yeah, hopefully.
We shall see. Carlos Bound is in the chat, who is a CrossFit photographer extraordinaire. And Carlos, of course, you were invited to our party.
Extraordinaire is an understatement. Carlos was one of the many very handsome individuals that I handpicked to come to the party. And he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, dude, you have to come."
See, you keep inviting people, but I'm wondering if it's just going to be a block party, because we sold out of RSVPs, according to Jessica.
Good.
And we had 350 RS. Now, this is not a big gym. Like, it's not huge.
Justine's coming from Third Z.
Yeah, well, we had 350 RSVPs that came in, and then I've had dozens like Justine and Carlos and people that say, "Oh yeah, I'm coming." Not to mention like some athletes on the side that I wouldn't let RSVP. I'm like, "Hey, just come in." Like, I'm not going to announce you're coming, And now I'm not sure everybody's going to be able to get in. It's going to be fun though.
We're gonna have to find out some contingency plan to like wrap around the block, or I don't know.
Maybe there's going to be a DJ. We're going to have poke bowls,
Okay.
poke, whatever. I don't know. It looks like poke.
Poke bowls.
I'm not fancy like you, dude. I don't know what the fuck it is. All I know is we're going to have bowls and we're going to have high noons and some non-alcoholic beer for those that don't drink and bottles of vodka and tequila and all kind of crazy stuff.
Wow. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited to be there. Excited to see you and Carlos and all the other amazing people coming.
It's gonna be good times. Good times. I had this woman reach out to me in my story. I wanted your opinion on this because I thought it kind of went to the podcast. She can only go to CrossFit 1 day a week. That was her story. And she's a stay-at-home mom, can only get in 1 day a week. She misses the community, but she loves CrossFit and was trying to figure out like what she should do. I thought that's a tough one, like, because there are some great online communities, Wide Prep being one of them. Street parking's another. Hard work pays off. Like, but there's something to be said for having, the actual community, like right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's obviously a ton of follow-up questions I would ask this person, but I'll kind of like go through a few things. I assume she's just very busy, and like kind of the only way she's able to make it in is 1 day. I'm wondering, is it always on the same day, or can she pick and choose? Because if I were someone who had to pick and choose, like if you gave me one class to go to on any given week, I would almost certainly choose like a Saturday, because I think Saturday is the best community vibe at any given gym, is because people from all angles, all the different classes, a lot of times they'll all kind of come together in that Saturday class. So I would say, if that is a choice, then I would choose Saturday. If let's say she can only go Tuesday at 12 p.m., right? Probably not the biggest class. That's fine. If you're asking how can I get involved in a community because I can't really get plugged into the local CrossFit gym, then I would do what John said, and I'd find an online community. There's like the street parking vibe, which is very much like it's just like get your workout in no matter what. And I know they have a great community over there. I'd say Wod Prep is like probably like a hybrid of like we have a lot of beginners, a lot of people who are still learning CrossFit, and also a lot of high level people, especially in the Masters division. But it's still like a very welcoming community. It's not too like I wouldn't say it's very like highbrow or like this is only for competitors. And then you have plenty of programs that are like only for competitors, or like that's kind of the vibe they give off, where it's like this is for serious freaking CrossFitters, and we super duper care about CrossFit. And then there's a lot of communities like that out there too. So online could work. I definitely I feel for this person because I'm very much a social exerciser. So I will do whatever it takes to exercise with a group or with literally I've driven like 30-40 minutes north a couple times last week just to train with Coda CrossFit, because they just have this bro session. When I say bro, it's guys and girls, but it's just like competitors class where there's like, no coaching whatsoever. It's just here's a workout and we just bro down and have a good time. Not good for a beginner. Amazing for someone who's looking for just a great community and has a lot of experience. There's so many different ways to get attached to a community, but if you get to choose the gym that you go to, I would focus on trying to prioritize that Saturday class. And then I will also say, not all gyms are created equal. Like there are some gyms that just unfortunately don't have that community, or it feels like kind of impenetrable. It's like people have their jobs, they go in, they work out, like they get to know each other a little bit, but beyond the question of the day, that's it. And then there's other gyms where it's like when you're a member of that gym, you are a part of a family. So that's kind of my thoughts, and hopefully that helps her without knowing all the details.
Yeah, her question specifically said she really likes having CrossFit peers, and it's discouraging not having, kind of peers around. And I get that. Like I've worked out in my basement, off and on for a couple of years, even though I belong to an affiliate, now own one. And for me, like when I wasn't, in an affiliate 4 or 5 days a week, like that connection to other CrossFitters is really, really critical. I always did it via text, like I just made sure I was doing the same workout as others. So I don't know if it's possible for her to find a gym where she can, join and have access to their programming, meet some of the members, and then get on a text chain.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was always, hey, I did the workout today. I got 12:32. What was your time? And or even just somebody you can complain about is, complain about the workout with, I think is important. I think the other thing that helps is make your home setup as close to a gym like setup as possible. Meaning, like, I have a timer in mind. Like, I think that timer is important to like keep you on track, to make you feel like you're actually there, even though there's no one in the room with you. I don't know. Outside of that, I mean, it says she's a stay-at-home mom. I'm wondering if, maybe she can explore some of the local affiliates and see who has maybe better childcare. Give her the ability. I don't know anything about this woman. Nothing about her kids. Like, why she's a stay-at-home mom. I don't know anything about her travel situation. None of that. But like, I know my affiliate, to your point, coming in on Saturdays, like we have a family that comes in every Saturday. They have 2 little kids. And when I say little, they are little, dude. Like, and they bring a playpen and they set this thing up, and these little kids are running around there and we're doing crazy workouts and loud, dirty rap music playing. I'm like, these kids' first words are going to be MFer probably, which is great. But you know what? They bring their kids and they're like, they're part of the community, and some gyms allow that, some don't. I just think it's worth looking into.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a really good point. I have been to a few gyms that offer childcare during certain class periods, so that it's definitely not commonplace, but it could be something. And then if this person is a stay-at-home mom and they have equipment, then I mean, heck, maybe she could create her own community. Join a program like Wod Prepper or Street Parking or something like that. Like, I actually know there's a group of guys on the street from me. They call themselves the Osceola Garage Gym or something like that. They're on Osceola Street, which is only a few streets down from me, and they follow Wod Prep programming. And they just it's just like a bunch of dudes, and they just come together and throw down in this guy's garage. They probably could go to a local affiliate, but like, they've created their own community at their garage gym. And they don't necessarily have coaches or anything like that, but they utilize the online resource to make sure they're doing it right, or at least close to right. And they gather up and do it online. Right. So that could work.
Yeah, it's just tough, dude. I was Wad Zombie's in the chat, and I was watching a podcast today that he was on. Do you watch Clydesdale? Have you ever seen Clydesdale's podcast?
Yeah, I've been on the podcast a couple times.
Okay. Oh, a couple of times. Oh, look at you, humble brag. I've only been on once. Scott doesn't like me as much as he likes you. But anyway, it's a good show.
Scott and Kat are great. Love this.
It's a good show. It's a really good show. Scott's a great interviewer. He had Nick on. And in the conversation, Nick was talking about his kids. He's got 2 kids, 3 and 5. And it stirred all these memories in me, because when I started CrossFit, my kids were 3 and 5, 2 girls. And at the time, they were obviously very little. And that's hard. Like, it's hard to coordinate lives. It's hard to take your kids. Like, I used to take them with me to CrossFit and make them sit under a table while I worked out. I'm like, don't you move while daddy's working out. And I can't tell you how many times, they're 3 and 5, so they're going to move, and I have to stop mid workout and go over, make sure one of them's not going to hurt themselves, and, get back to the workout. And it's tough on people. And like, finding a community of people that also have young kids and also have these life challenges, I think it's really important for people, and finding those resources. So if anyone's listening and you have those resources, send it to us. We'd be happy to talk about it and shout out your organization, because I think people are striving for that. They want it.
Yeah. And then I know it's not a profitable enterprise for most gyms, but I mean, some gyms have CrossFit Kids, and that's that it works for some gyms really well. And that could be a great way to, heck, maybe even get the kids that are, causing you to stay at home and do the hard work that is being a mom. But maybe there's a way you can get the kids involved in the gym. So yeah, there's so many different options. Without knowing the full story, it's a little difficult, but I totally feel you. I think that the key here is community. I know for me, especially, like, community is the thing that keeps me coming back to CrossFit and keeps me going to these events and keeps me in touch with so many old friends. It's all about the community. And I love that's what brings us together, but it's also what keeps us really fit. It's because we all keep each other accountable. So without the community, it's definitely very difficult.
I would really struggle to stay motivated if I didn't have people around me. So I get that, like that feeling of I need people to push me, because like I've worked out in this basement hundreds of times, and it's fine. I have some great days down there. I have other days where I'm like, I'm just going to go upstairs and get a drink, and I never go back down. It's like just stay upstairs and watch TV for a while. Just it's hard to stay motivated when you're in a gym setting. It's easier to stay motivated. So I hope we can find a way to help this woman, because I thought it was an interesting question that I wasn't fully equipped to give the answer to, but I thought you might have some insight. I had another question for you, because I saw in your story, we have never talked about this, but I saw in your story the other day that you guys are doing nutrition stuff at Wod Prep. And and it made me laugh because I'm very familiar with your nutrition of ice cream. And I'm like, wow,
and cookies.
But yeah, Ben works out one day a week and eats ice cream and cookies every night. Now he's doing a nutrition course. So this is going to be fun. This will be great. But what I was really thinking about that I wanted your insight to is like, we're 9 days into the year now. And you got a lot of people doing new year, new me, new nutrition. And I think this is the hardest, personally. I'm only speaking for myself, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think this is the hardest time when you've started a new nutrition plan. You're about 9 days in and you're starting to get the shakes. You know what I mean? Like, where are my cookies? Where's my ice cream? Where's the things that I love? How do you get people past that to get into a good solid routine and make it that first 30 days so they can, kind of push toward their goals and achieve what they're wanting to achieve?
Yeah. So I can only speak on the kind of nutrition coaching that Wod Prep has given, and our course has given. And I am not a nutritionist, but the person that I made the product with is and was and continues to be one of the most sought after nutrition courses or nutrition coaches. The answer to your question, John, is I don't make them cut out the things that they love. That's like it's the most important thing about long-term sustained diets, is that if you are cutting out, like if you're someone like me that I live to eat, like I love food, a perfect vacation for me is to go to Italy and just eat everything. I literally like plan out and like lust over the food that I'm going to have later. But that's because I love food so much. So I make food fit within my requirements. So I tend to be very, very pro like adding things in rather than excluding, because I think the exclusionary aspect of dieting is what makes it so difficult. So like, yes, if you're 9 days in right now and you're like, you haven't had a single sweet and you're freaking out and you're all upset and it sucks. Well, I would say like, hey, maybe your diet isn't the right diet for you if you really love sweets. Maybe you should find a diet like thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we've helped use. You should find a diet that allows you to have the sweets. You just create rules around getting those sweets. So for me, it's like, if I hit my protein number for the day, I'm making sure to hydrate enough, I'm making sure to sleep enough, and I'm also making sure to not exceed my calorie balance. The difference between me like eating a plate of broccoli versus like, I'll have 2 cookies, or like I don't freak out about that, because I've checked all the other boxes. I've made sure that I've had an adequate amount of protein. I'm making sure that I'm keeping my calorie balance the way that it should be. I'm making sure that I am getting my micronutrients by consuming lots of vegetables and fruits that are all within this system. But like the idea that like you can't have a cookie, or like you can't have sweets, or you can't have those ice cream, desserts a couple times a week, like it's just crazy. And that's my personal opinion. That's why I've been so drawn to the more flexible dieting, like the hierarchy of importance. You can have a perfect day of eating, right? And that's great. But even if you have an imperfect day of eating, you can still achieve your goal of getting leaner, right? And that's where I think people maybe get confused, is like they assume, oh no, if I had like a case in point, actually, it's like last night I had a lot of cookies. Granted, I did play.
How many are a lot? Give me a number.
I did play pickleball for 7 hours. I probably had, let's see, I have 3 different bags. I have a bag of Milanos, a bag of EL fudges, and a bag of Famous Amos. or rotation, and a
how,
glass.
How big are these bags? Give me.
I probably had 10 EL fudges, probably maybe 6 Milanos, and then for the famous Amos, probably like 5 or 6, right? So I had multiple hundreds of calories worth of Milano cookies. But I guarantee you, I still lost weight yesterday because in terms of the total caloric needs that my body had yesterday after playing 6 hours of pickleball, I can assure you I exceeded I was underneath my calorie needs for that specific day because of how active I was. Now, also, what you didn't notice is like that morning, what did I have? I ate a pound of ground elk, and I had a giant bowl of mixed organic berries and like half a plate of roasted red potatoes. Were like super well balanced, and I think I also had some like sautéed veggies in there, like super like very high micronutrient meal, like probably not too many calories, but it really had a ton of protein in it. Like I make sure that I front load a lot of those healthy food decisions so that come evening time, I know I have a ton of calories left. Yeah, I ate a lot of cookies. And if I don't track anymore because I don't need to, but like if I was tracking, sure, my macronutrient breakdown would probably be a little heavy on the carbs. I probably was a little under my protein number, and fat, who knows where that fits in. But I know that overall my calorie balance was probably still a deficit compared to how much I actually burned that day. So I don't necessarily suggest like changing what you eat based on your activity level for the day. That's not very sustainable at all. But once you understand the importance that like calories are the most important thing. If you're trying to lose weight, the only thing that matters is calorie balance. Even if I have 2,500 calories worth of Milano cookies every day, I will lose weight and be shredded. But I'm going to be lacking micronutrients. I'm going to be like, it's not a good diet.
Yeah, you're going to be sick is what you're going to
I'm going to be sick. Yeah. But you can get really shredded eating nothing but bananas or nothing but Milano cookies or not like, so it's just all about like, you have to understand the hierarchy of importance. It's like calorie balance, probably it is the most important in terms of, are you going to lose or gain weight? And then you have protein. Protein is number 2. So are you going to be losing or gaining muscle? A lot of that's predicated on that protein balance, and then also how much weightlifting you're doing and strength training. And then we get into macronutrients as a whole. So we have protein, carbs, and fat. You can play around with the amount of fat that you're getting. So this is like, that's a whole huge discussion that I would want my nutritionist for. But that's how I look at my nutrition. So it gives me a lot of flexibility, and hopefully you'll see that despite eating multiple boxes of cookies and pints of ice cream next week or this week in Miami, I'll still be able to see my abs. And that's, again, just because I understand that like there's a time and place to like try to avoid sweets. But if you understand the true science behind calorie consumption, protein intake, and what it takes to lose weight and gain weight, it's like a lot simpler than people make it. Now, I'm not claiming that I have the most optimized diet from a high performance training perspective, right? I need a lot more micronutrients, right? A lot more fruits and vegetables. But in terms of my specific goals of what I'm trying to achieve, it all works. So.
Do you track your food personally?
No, so I used to. Once I tracked my food for about 6 months, using kind of the system that we use. It's literally just flexible dieting, tracking macros and hitting protein numbers. Once I did that for 6 months, I've never tracked again because I have a very, I'm still inaccurate, but I have a very decent idea on a given day if I have consumed enough protein and whether or not I'm roughly in that calorie balance.
Now, are you predicating everything off your protein number?
No. Calories are the number one thing. But what's funny is like, if a lot of times, like if you actually hit your protein number, especially if you're eating the protein, it's hard to overeat because protein is so satiating. Like it's so filling. So if I'm eating like lean ground beefs and fish and like lean chickens and hitting that 180 grams of protein a day, I'm stuffed. I have a hard time eating more, especially if I'm having some sort of high nutrient food item, like some broccoli or some, like sauteed kale, or a lot of times I'm just doing big bowls of organic fruit, right? Like if I combine that with this high protein, a lot of times like I'm adding those things in. And as long as I check the box of getting enough protein and making sure I have those micronutrient containing vegetables and fruits, I'm stuffed, right? I don't really have like room to eat all the crappy stuff later in the day. So I like front load that really healthy, high nutrient, high protein stuff early in the day. And then by the end of the day, it's like, yeah, if I'm still hungry, I'll snack and I'll eat whatever I want. But I know that I'm not going to have a huge capacity to overeat every single day. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. When we started, when I changed my nutrition for this Wodapalooza thing, the one thing I noticed very quickly was that as I started leading with protein and like upping my protein count and making sure I hit that number, it did become really hard. Like,
yes.
Like not only is that a hard number to hit, like you learn very quickly, you actually have to eat protein, or you have to do a lot of protein shakes, which sucks. Like protein shakes are not fun.
Yeah, I haven't had a protein shake in I kid you not, probably like a year. Like I don't do any drink.
Dude, they are a last resort for me.
Yeah,
absolute last. Like I have found, I would rather do a snack, like a mid-afternoon snack of baked chicken over a protein shake any day of the week. It keeps you full longer. You get more protein out of it. It's just straight up better for you. And I don't know. I feel like I digest it, but like everything about it's better.
Yeah. I found just like staying full, right? Like, I mean, basically it's like, if you feel full, you're probably and you feel full consistently, and you're eating high nutrient and high protein food items, you're probably going to get shredded. Like I know that's like a very, very far oversimplification, but it's really, really worked well for me. Like even like a mutual guy that we know, like Ryan Fisher, right? I think I saw the other day, he posted, like all he eats every morning is like a pound of ground beef and a pound of fruit, right? That's all he does. It's all he eats every single morning. And like my mornings are very similar to that. It's like a ton of protein, some sort of like, usually it's just fruit because I like fruit. I don't like eating a bunch of broccoli, so instead I eat a bunch of fruit. And when you front load a lot of that stuff, then the evening choices become a little bit easier, and it's less likely that you're gonna really overeat. And if you do overeat, what's so great is you can only do so much damage in one given day, right? So I know that if I have a couple days where I'm just like way overeating, not only will I like feel that, like I kind of can like feel it, in my body. I also just realized that like, hey, like I might have gained a pound or two, but you have to overeat by 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound of mass, right? And that's a lot of overeating. So you really have to try. So yeah, I know there's like for everyone listening, like lots of oversimplifications. I'm also not claiming like this is not a perfect performance diet, right? Like if I was training for the CrossFit Games, I would be tracking. I would eat a lot less, quote unquote junk food, not because it's going to make me fat, but because it doesn't have the micronutrients that my body needs to help replenish the from all the workouts and stuff like that. So, but I do think a lot of people sometimes, like especially in CrossFit, that they freak out about like eating bad foods, when really it's like if you just stay like relatively lean, sleep a lot, drink a lot of water, and make sure that you get some fruits and vegetables, you're going to be a lot better off than a lot of people who just completely freak out and like they won't eat a single cookie because that's bad. So anyway,
I worry in this CrossFit space, like, the Ryan Fishers of the world, the U's of the world, like you guys are the 1% of the people that actually have abs. The rest of us are very normal, work a 9-to-5 job, like having abs might be an aspiration, but it's never going to happen. Like it's just not going to happen. Right. And so like, I always worry about nutrition in the CrossFit space of people getting frustrated. And I was thinking about this specific window of time we're in, of people getting frustrated with what they're doing when what they ought to be thinking about is like, how can I eat to have better performance in the gym? How can I eat to have better performance at life? Mm-hmm. To your point, like, how can I eat cleaner so I can, you're mentioning how you feel better when you eat certain things, you can feel it in your performance. Oh, like how can they get to that point?
So on that, I mean, that's a great point, right? So again, like I'm not here to, and I apologize if anyone's listening to this being like, like, well, that doesn't work for me. This guy's an asshole. Like, F off.
No one's thinking that. No one thinks that.
The like, and I can't say this more loudly and from all the rooftops. Like, James Smith is a good guy to follow about this. But like, the only thing that matters, unless you have an extremely rare medical condition, which if you're listening, you probably don't. The only thing that matters to get you in the direction of seeing your abs is calorie consumption, right? So like, I think a lot of people put the cart before the horse, where they focus too much on optimizing for like whatever fad diet is in the trend, or whatever like special creative calorie tracking meal plan that they want to follow. It's like, at the end of the day, if you're faced with like, what should I do? It's just like, eat less calories, and you will generally move in the direction of becoming a leaner human. There's a lot more nuance to that. But if you're a CrossFitter, that means you're strength training. So that's good. That's going to prevent muscle, like, basically your muscles from going away. And then if you eat enough protein, along with also the most important part, remember, is being in a caloric deficit. If you're in a caloric deficit, it is physically, the laws of the universe will not keep you fat, right? Like, if you are in a calorie deficit, it is physically impossible for you to not lose weight over the long term. And a lot of people use like the daily scale, and it messes with them. There's a lot of water weight issues, like especially, women with their menstrual cycle, like they hold on to water, and there's different times when they're going to be heavier and lighter. But over the course of a year, if you eat 50 less calories than your energy needs for the day, by the end of the year, you will have burned, I'll run a calculation. So if I do 50 calories times 365, it's 18,250 calories. And then if I divide that by 3,500, that's a pound. Okay. You would lose 5.21 pounds, right? So like, and that's just eating one less like Reese's Pieces on any given day. So that's what, like, it's all about like the hierarchy of decision making. It's like, number one thing is calorie deficit. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of lose it, right? They don't want to track. They want to do something a little bit more creative. But the fact of the matter is, like, if you just track your calories and you do it relatively accurately, and then find out what that calorie number is that kind of works for you, eventually you're just going to like slowly see that scale drop over time, because it's physics. Like, it's science. And I just think people kind of beat themselves up a lot. Let's say it's January 9th and you wanted to do a nutrition plan. Maybe you did something like Whole30, which can be fantastic, but it's really restrictive. And last night or 2 nights ago, you went to a party and you freaking had a slice of pizza. It's like, oh, and you feel bloated. Maybe you gained a pound, and that's in air quotes because you probably didn't gain a pound. You're just holding on to water weight. You wake up the next morning, you feel defeated. You're like, look, the scale, I'm getting fatter. I'm ruined. It's like, no, you're not. You're not at all. All that matters is that each and every day you're trying to make that decision of, am I heading in the right direction? And the thing that's going to head you in the quote unquote right direction nutritionally or physique wise, if you're trying to lose weight, is just calorie deficit. If you find a way to stay in calorie deficit, which isn't as hard as a lot of people will make you, think it is, then you're going to head in the right direction. It's physically impossible for you not to head in the right direction.
If I could encourage people to do something, it would be take an in-body scan if you have the ability, or, can find a place that will do it. There are plenty of places you can pay for it. Like the affiliate I am still a member at, it's part of my gym membership. And there's something empowering about knowing all your metrics, for one. And the second piece that's important, like to your point, there's certainly a lot of science behind, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. Like, that's going to happen. But what we haven't talked about is, if you're also doing these CrossFit workouts and you're prioritizing protein, you're also probably putting on muscle. So there's a point when those two numbers are going to converge. And the weight you're losing and the muscle you're putting on the scale is going to show that you're not making progress, when in reality, you're making a lot of progress. And that's why an in-body scan is so important, is it'll show you body fat loss. It'll show you muscle mass, like, and I think those are powerful things to understand. You could have an entire month where you've worked out great, you've eaten great, and the scale is saying nothing's happening, when in reality, maybe you've lost 2 or 3 percentages of body fat and you're getting frustrated. This happened to me, truthfully, during this Wodapalooza training. Like, I started at 184 back end of August, and I wasn't going into this to lose a lot of weight, but I knew I would lose some. And a couple months later, I'm still sitting at like 180, and I'm like, what the hell? Like 4 pounds is nothing, and considering the work I was putting in and like all the food tracking we're doing. And then I did 2 in-body scans 30 days apart, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, I've lost 4 or 5% body fat over that time frame.
I think it's pretty I would say it's relatively common from what I've seen in CrossFitters. And I know when I first started CrossFit, this did happen to me. And it's kind of the world I play in now. And that's like, it's kind of like a rare thing, but it's called like a recomp, where essentially what's happening is you are staying right around your normal caloric balance. Meaning, like, if you just keep eating, let's say I ate the same thing every day, which I'm not saying to do that, but if I ate the same thing every single day for the rest of my life and did the same amount of exercise and slept the same amount, you would eventually have this equilibrium, right? And what happens is a lot of people, they eat around that equilibrium, but like you said, due to strength training and high protein consumption, you get a little bit of this shift sometimes where, like, you might be 180 on the scale, but kind of every day, or, as you continue this trend of strength training, eating a lot of protein and staying at the same calorie level, you do have this phenomenon sort of where, like, you'll lose a little fat, but you're also putting on a little muscle. It's easier to lose fat than it is to gain muscle, but like, you start to do a little bit of both at the same time. So the scale won't fluctuate very much, but you'll see your body looking a lot better. So that does happen. It's happened to me a lot of times. But it is, like, again, like, if you're in a deficit, let's say you're in a 500 calorie deficit, it's like nearly impossible for you to put on muscle, because remember, the only way we can put on muscle is if we're in a surplus. So the only way we add mass to our body, cultivating mass, for those who like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the only way we're cultivating mass is if we're in that surplus. So what's cool about that recomp area is you kind of like flirt with, sometimes you're a little high, sometimes you're a little low, but it has this phenomenon where you seem to put on muscle, or you maybe do put on a little bit of muscle, but you're also leaning out and the scale stays roughly the same. It's a great place to be in, because you also don't feel like you're starving, which is quite nice.
Right. Well, I plan to put on some margarita weight while we're in Miami.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Margarita weight, Wodapalooza will be fun. I'm sure we'll get looped into a couple other exercises, a couple workouts.
Can we go back to that breakfast place we went to?
The
bacon place where we were doing tequila shots at, like,
that set us up for a very, very interesting day.
What was that place called? Bacon Bitch?
Something ridiculous.
It was like Hooters, but for brunch. It was the most bizarre experience. I'm not even making fun of it.
And it was full of CrossFitters.
It was, but it was like a Hooters for brunch. It was like all these young women who were very sweet, but they're all wearing booty shorts and tight shirts, just like a Hooters, and it's brunch. And I don't know who on your team knew somebody there, but David did tequila shots at like 10 a.m. Like, it's too early for this shit, but of course I'm going to drink them because they're free tequila shots.
Right. Such a dichotomy between we're here for a fitness festival, and then here we are. But that's what's cool about celebrating, like going to places like this, is like, you can have both. Like, you can treat your body really well and sleep and train hard, gain muscle, and eat well to fuel everything and be healthy on all aspects. But what's so cool is it doesn't mean that you need to eliminate everything else. Like, you can still have the fun. Like, I'm still going to be staying out. There's still, yes, people are consuming alcohol at your party and maybe brunch the next morning. Who knows? But I think it's so awesome that as a community we can do both. It doesn't have to be exclusion of either.
Well, and I just think for everyone thinking of their nutrition goals right now, they're 2 weeks in, think longer term. And, this year is going to be a lot of fun. Like, if I were kind of new on this journey, I would be thinking, all right, the real goal isn't how good can I look at the end of January. The real goal is how good can I look the first week of August when I'm in Madison for the CrossFit Games.
There you go.
And in between there, I've got the CrossFit Open. I've got, probably a couple other events. Semifinals comes up.
Yep. Oh yeah, I gotta look at that schedule. Forgot about that.
Yeah, and then and everybody's got life and things happening in between there. So if you can really think in a longer term and go, all right, for the next 8 months, what can this look like? And do the little math that you did. Here's how you lose the 5 pounds and change your body comp. I think it changes your outlook on how guilty you feel over that one piece of pizza.
Yeah, and then exactly. Like when you stretch that time horizon, like that, unless that one slice of pizza was like, let's say the slice of pizza hypothetically it was 3,500 calories.
That's a good slice of pizza, though.
That'd be like 3 pizzas.
Yeah, it'd be the best slice of pizza.
Let's say hypothetically it was that. Guess what? You would only hypothetically, if your body perfectly assimilated all the calories, we're not even going to get into that, you would gain 1 pound. 1. That's it. Right. So like a lot of people make these huge, like, I think mentally they just crumble if they make a couple mistakes. But realistically, you probably didn't eat 3 extra pizzas.
Right.
You might have only eaten a slice or 2. And guess what? That's the mistake, that quote unquote mistake. And I don't even like using that word. It's so small. All you need to do, like James Clear talks about this in one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits. Just like if you make a mistake, quote air quotes here, then just try not to make it twice in a row. Like if you have one meal where you just like didn't track, everything went out the window, it was a disaster, then just say, rather than wallow in that, just say, hey, the next meal, I'm going to try to make it high protein, high nutrient, and I'm going to track it. Boom, you're off to the races again. So just stretch out that time horizon and then realize like you're really only as good as your next decision. So just try to make the next decision a good one. And don't beat yourself up when you eat cookies. Don't ever do
that. I can't promise you my next decision is going to be a good one, Ben, but throw the shot. Mm-hmm. All right. So when do you fly out? When's your trip?
I fly out Wednesday morning. I'll get there Wednesday evening.
Okay, cool. I fly out tomorrow afternoon. I'll get there Tuesday night. I'm going to, I got my whole week planned out. Wednesday, got to walk over to the Whole Foods, get food prep for Wednesday, Thursday, compete 3:00 on Thursday. And by 3:45, have a margarita while I watch you compete at 4:30. I'm going to literally sit on the sideline.
3:45, you're not going to be done working out.
All right, 4:00.
4:15, you'll have a margarita.
4:15, I'm going to have somebody bring me a margarita. And I'm going to stand on the side. And I'm going to watch you work out while I drink it. And I'm just going to make eye contact with you. I do a big straw, and not one of those paper straws. None of that shit. Like true plastic, like the kind you kill a turtle with. And I'm just going to sit there, just sip on this margarita. It's going to be so good.
Excellent. I can't wait. Maybe, hey, I might even come over in the middle of the workout and take a sip. You never know.
Hey, I'll bring it out. I'll bring it out on the floor for you. I don't give a fuck. It'd be great.
You'll never know. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. And obviously, anyone listening, if you are in Miami for Wodapalooza, come say hi. And we'd love to talk. We always love talking to listeners and get good podcast ideas. Because we always assume no one listens to this thing. But a lot of people do. I think this is probably what the most people come up to us at events and say, like, hey, we love the podcast. And then we always ask them a bunch of questions. So come say hi.
What time? You're 4:30, right? Your heat's 4:30?
Yeah, 4:40, I believe.
What lane are you in? Do you know?
I think I'm in lane 5, but I might try to slide someone a $5 bill and see if I can get closer to Charlie so that we're working out closer together. But yeah.
I'm in lane 4, 3:00, same stage.
Sweet.
It's going to be good stuff.
Awesome.
All right, dude. I'm excited to see you.
I am too. I'm pumped to see
you. And the rest of the WOD Prep team. It'll be fun. I've never met Charlie.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Ball of energy.
Good stuff. All right. Well, good talking to you. Safe travels. For everyone listening, thanks for joining. And we hope to see you in Wodapalooza. We'll chat with you guys next week.
Peace.